Hello, welcome to you all. I am Senthil Kumar, I am a multidiscipline engineer, and please go through my website www.senthil.sirc.co.in, and my company website is www.sirc Success Inventive Research Center.co.in. And today I am going to discuss about the black hole. So, what is a black hole at least? Black hole is something interesting that we didn't find that puzzle in this case. It has been a puzzle in this case, and we didn't crystallize. And as I was in my mind, I described about this black hole by now. So, in this case, what is a black hole? Black hole is nothing but high density medium. For example, we have an object with this distance, the inter-object distance, this is sparse one. This here the inter-object distance is extremely high, and when this same object has been shrunk to lesser area, means that the high density medium. So, the density is high. So, because in those regions inter-object distances, distance between the objects, inter-object distance is extremely less. So, R value, the inter-object distance is extremely less by this case. In this atmosphere, inter-object distance is extremely less. Here, comparatively, compared to here, the inter-object distance is high, and compared to here, compared to this inter-object distance is very less. And also, because of this inter-object distance is very high, and they are tightly bonded each other. They are in this region, they are tightly bonded with each other. Since G is nothing but a permeability medium. Permeability means it is an inter-object bonding value. Here, because they are sparsely distributed, and if in here the inter-object G value, the inter-object bonding value is less. But when you compare to here, inter-object bonding value is high, because they are tightly bonded to each other. So, capital G, that is universal gravitational constant, that we call it as a capital G, is high here, and capital G is less here, because these objects are lightly bonded. In these objects are lightly bonded. In this objects are extremely tightly bonded. So, in this tightly bonded atmosphere, the universal gravitation constant value is extremely high, since this permeability value is tightly bonded value. So, this R is nothing but an inter-object distance, the distance is very low. When you substitute these two absent here, this is very less. When we take a universal gravitational constant along with respect to this black hole with another objects. This is another object, and this is a black hole gravity value. That is, when it sediment it, we will get it gravitation of this black hole value equal to capital G, universal gravitational constant, into m1 mass over gravitational value, and R, distance between these two. In this criteria, when we take this G value, that is a permanent inter-object distance value, is extremely high with this atmosphere, and also the inter-object distance is extremely less. Inter-object distance is less. This is very less, and this is very high, and the mass, overall masses leads to be raised. So, the gravitation value is extremely high by this case. In this case of universal in the black hole, the gravity value is extremely high. That is why the black hole will have high attractive power. Reason why is distance inside the black hole, inter-object distance is very less, and the gravitational universal gravitational constant, the G value is very high. This is a permeability value. The permeability is nothing but an inter-object distance, inter-object bonding with each object, inter-object bonding value. So, this object bonding value is extremely high, the distance is very less, and the mass is little high. So, that the universal gravitation value is extremely gravitation of a black hole is extremely high, so that it can attract an object at any point. So, this is the case, and because of this, inter-object is high, and also they are tightly bonded. Their bonding is extremely high, as like this. Their bonding is extremely high like this. When we are, so in this atmosphere, if you send any light or anything on this one, light wave, if you send any light wave or any object, it is tightly bonded. When the light wave is heated here, and it does not vibrate because it is tightly bonded, it does not respond. If it is vibrate, we will experience the reflection and refraction. Because it does not vibrate, it will keep on tightly bonded with each other. It doesn't been vibrate, so it doesn't reflect and it doesn't refract. That's why looks like a black. It doesn't vibrate at all. So it doesn't. So in sense, it is not vibrating with at any frequency or any wavelength. So it's like a silent one. It's like a silent one. It's like a silent one. And even when you are sending any light to this, it doesn't vibrate. It kept in the silent. So it doesn't reflect and it doesn't even emit because it doesn't vibrate. It is tightly bonded with this atmosphere. It looks like a black because there is no oscillation. If there is a little oscillation, if there is an oscillation, it will be propagated by that atmosphere. It doesn't vibrate, it doesn't oscillate, so we cannot experience a wave from that one. So there is no wave means we cannot see anything from that black hole. So black hole is not an hole. It is a high density solid medium. It's an extremely high density solid medium. It has tightly bonded with each other, and it has less inter-object distance bond. It has high attractive force. This is G value, gravitation value, acceleration due to gravitation of value of a black hole extremely high. In those atmosphere, we feel it might be in the center of this universe, or maybe in our center of our earth also possible, maybe less than few millimeter or something like this. In those atmosphere, few millimeter or 1 meter distance of this one in this earth, or maybe in the center of this universe, we will have a black hole, because in the black hole the density is extremely high. In this atmosphere, inter-object distance is very less, and this inter-object bonding value is extremely high, that we call it as a gravitation value. And we substituting this in this here, we will experience a very high, huge value of gravitation, so which will leads to makes very high mass. Overall mass is extremely high because of this value. Because of the G value, looks like big. So the mass, overall weight will be extremely high. So it's like a high dense medium which has very high dense medium, which doesn't vibrate with any wave. So it doesn't reflect, it does not refract. Simply looks like that same, and it will simply attract the atmospheric situations simply at high density with high force. So with this, I am concluding about this permeability. Thank you.